This is Frank Consolo with the Crested Butte Home podcast, and my guest this week is from one of the more remote areas of the Gunnison area, but he was kind enough to drive all the way to Crested Butte just to chat with me and be on the podcast. One of the great things I think about our area is that we have three major mountain ranges to choose from. Crested Butte is, of course, in the Elk Mountains, but just to the south of Gunnison, you can visit the San Juans, and then to our east, we have the Sawatch Range around Taylor Park and Monarch Pass. My guest is from Sargents, which is on the western side of Monarch Pass, and we talk about some of the things that are going on there. And if you haven't checked it out and explored that area, I would recommend that you do so. So let's go ahead and welcome Yon Iacchio to the Crested Butte Home podcast. Today on the Crested Butte Home podcast, my guest is Yon Iacchio. Tell us a little bit about yourself and where you're from to start off with.
Hello, Frank.
Hey.
So, originally I'm from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Moved out to Colorado when I was 18. Colorado's been home ever since. So,
What brought you to Colorado?
I was always fascinated with the skiing.
Okay.
Growing up, I had ski magazines on the beach in the middle of winter.
Okay. Yep. Same here.
Yeah.
And where? So I think you mentioned Boulder, or maybe that was just before when we were talking. Did you go to CU then, or did you just move to?
Briefly.
Okay.
I had one heck of a year.
Okay.
I stopped going to school and started skiing, and pretty much didn't do well in any of the classes, and realized that I would be better off just working.
Okay. What did you do?
Restaurant business, and then carpentry afterwards.
Like managing a restaurant, or just waiting tables?
A little bit waiting tables, bartending, and managing in Boulder.
Okay. All right. And this is all in Boulder. So why'd you stick around in Boulder if you were into skiing? Why didn't you move up to Summit or Crested Butte or Telluride or Jackson? Or
Well, Boulder is kind of a outdoor mecca for, I think, everything. Is kind of like the entrance into the Rocky Mountains.
Sure.
And so it had excellent mountaineering and rock climbing, and that sort of took over once I moved into Colorado. I'm like, oh, okay, we have skiing over here, and then also just out the door, I can go get a bouldering session in. That is kind of unique for that area.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Were you did you do any climbing out on the East Coast, or was that something you picked up when you moved?
Picked up when I moved.
How did you know somebody who just kind of brought you in? Or?
Yeah, just walking around the Flatirons and seeing people bouldering, and I'm like, oh, that looked good, looked like fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then did someone? I mean, how did you take a class, or did you just start meeting people up there?
Meeting people.
It's always such a weird thing with climbing. You can't just do it solo very well.
Yeah.
So.
Meeting people, and then not so much a gym environment either. It was more traditional style rock climbing.
Yeah.
A lot of gear placement. And following routes in El Dorado Canyon.
So mostly Eldo. That was your spot.
Was the start of my
Yeah. And then where else did you end up climbing?
Clipping bolts in Boulder Canyon, and then alpine routes in Rocky Mountain National Park. Yeah.
And then what about outside of Colorado? You were mentioning.
Yeah, so my climbing has taken me to Venezuela to climb near Angel Falls. 2 other guys, and new route down there. It took us 2 month-long visits to finish.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How? So what kind of vertical? It's pretty big, right?
So they're called tepuis down there, and I don't know how many there are, but there's a definite number, and each one has its own flora and fauna. And this one was called Aprai Tepui. It was close to 2,000 feet, I bet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Had you done some big wall stuff like Yosemite?
The Diamond, 1,600 vertical feet.
Okay,
Longs
the Diamond
Peak.
on Longs Peak, sure. Yeah. And what kind of what is this, like 5'10", 5'12"?
Mostly it was all 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What did you ever max out at? What was the hardest grade that you ever climbed?
I would say the hardest thing I ever did was Wunsch's Dihedral, which is in Colorado, and it's hard 511 trad.
Okay. Which is harder than a sport 511 for sure.
Yeah.
Cool.
It was Cynical Pinnacle, Wunsch's Dihedral.
That's a good name.
I was feeling pretty good that day.
Do you still climb?
No.
No? How long's it been?
15 years, I bet.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Why'd you stop? Was there...
Got out of shape.
Yeah?
Yeah, and then just, you need to be in incredible shape to be...
Yeah, especially to, like, enjoy it at the level that you were accustomed to.
Right. And then proceeded to get more and more out of shape. Yeah. It happens.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I assume you kept skiing, so...
Mm-hmm.
Talk about your skiing. Talk about your skiing career then, I guess.
So, first thing I did moving to Boulder was, I think within the first week, I bought a Vail Seasons Pass. And it was just Vail and Beaver Creek at that time. Arrowhead, too. And outstanding year, and learned how to ski powder. And so just after that, just more kind of Seasons Pass, Copper Mountain. And then I did a winter in Jackson Hole and realized that I was no longer a good skier. I was just kind of part of the crowd, the rest of the town.
Why do you say that?
I think that there's a lot of exceptional skiers in that area.
Sure.
Yeah.
So why did it matter if you weren't on their level, I guess?
I guess it didn't, but I realized that I was what I thought I was exceptional in Colorado. I wasn't. There was guys that were just
skiing lots of cool stuff. So
yeah, a lot of cliff jumping back then.
Yep.
That was kind of the thing. Micah Black was all the rage.
Oh, sure, all the early TGR movies and things like that.
Yeah.
Well, what about combining your climbing and the skiing? Like, did you?
Yeah, that was cool.
Do like the Grand Teton or something like that, or?
I skied from the where the guides stored their equipment. I forget the name of the saddle there.
Yeah, it's the upper saddle, I think is the...
Yeah, and so I climbed the rest of the mountain to the summit and then came back down to the saddle and skied back down to the car.
Yeah.
This is when I think the AT gear was just started getting any good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So were you carrying alpine skis up there then?
No, I rented it. So Wilson Sports or whatever mountaineering store that was right there. I traded a lift ticket for a set of alpine touring gear, and that was my first go at it.
Awesome. That worked out.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, let's switch it up. You own the Tomichi Creek Trading Post, which is in Sargents. So
yes, me and my wife.
Let's start let's just start with Sargents. Where is Sargents and what's its history? Let's start there.
Western slope of Monarch Pass. It was a railroad hub. This was the first kind of push into the Gunnison Valley. So it was a much bigger town then than it is today. We probably have somewhere around 30 full-time residents.
Okay, yeah.
What made it special for us to move there was I saw it as a place to really, it was a great place to plan adventures out of. I think that not too many people go out that way to go do some outstanding skiing along the west side of the Continental Divide.
Sure.
And there's outstanding mountain biking, and there's outstanding snowmobiling too.
And dirt biking as well.
Yep.
For the other motorized version of that.
Yeah. That's probably the biggest reason that I landed there, to be honest with you. Yeah.
The dirt biking or the snow?
The dirt biking.
Yeah. Well, I guess, all right, well, let's just stop there. So when did you get into dirt biking with all this history of yours?
Right around the time I met my wife.
Okay.
I just set myself up on a trick question there. About 9 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
And was that because she was a dirt biker?
No, we went camping, and she had a friend that was that had a dirt bike there. And I grew up with him as a kid.
Uh-huh.
Up till about 14, and I started thinking girls were cool in cars.
Sure.
But I always had a dirt bike, and so it was kind of a reintroduction.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Talk about Sargents, I guess. Like, you mentioned it's a good hub. It's also, as more of a mountain biker, I've stopped at your store and you've been like, really? You're going mountain biking? Because it's rugged. It's definitely more difficult than most of our trails here in Crested Butte or in Gunnison. So talk about the topography of that area, I guess.
When people think about Sargents and dirt bike riding, it's rocky.
Yeah.
It's a rocky place.
Yeah.
That's how I would generalize the topography. It's
Sure.
also right next to the Continental Divide
Yep.
and the Continental Divide Trail. And so, gosh, we get in all kinds of people from all over the world. It's awesome.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially during the
Tour
it must be
Divide.
really cool for the Tour Divide to
Yeah.
meet all those people. And
so we'll stay open late for that. We know that a rider's coming off of Marshall on the route, maybe a racer, and we know that he's maybe 15 minutes past our closing time. And
because well, I guess we should time that. What is the Tour Divide for people who don't know?
it's a course that starts in Banff and ends in Antelope Wells, New Mexico. 2,700 miles.
More or less follows the Continental Divide.
Right.
Yeah.
And so they do a race every year called the Tour Divide, and there's no hoopla about it.
Right.
Guys show up at the start,
Yep.
and
Gentleman's agreement with the rules,
Yep.
pretty much. And so you can stop and you can get food and you can get a shower and a bed and all those things like you guys offer, but only if it's available to everybody.
correct.
You can't stop at your buddy's house.
You can't have somebody with a car that's kind of following you. That's against the
Yep.
rules.
Yep.
No assisted.
Yep.
Yeah.
So your store is like, it's one of the, how far do they have to go to get to your store from the previous stop?
Well,
Or does it depend, I guess, which direction?
Salida.
Okay.
So, and then our store, which is over Marshall Pass, maybe 30, close to 40 miles, I bet.
Yep.
Yeah, from Salida.
But then from you going forward, it's a long way.
Delmar, over 100 miles.
So that's the point where they're trying to get their last nutrition and
Right.
everything else they need.
Yeah.
And when you said that you'll stay open late, it's because you can watch. Everyone usually has a tracker. It's online.
Correct.
So you're like, oh, Billy Joe he's coming. We'll hang out. Let's wait for him. Make sure he can get what he needs or whoever it is.
Yeah.
So, very cool. Very cool.
I think what's most impressive is some of these guys that do it more than once.
Yeah.
We had one guy come through this year that has finished second, and this year he didn't finish, got sick. But to see him again wearing the same jersey, I'm like, oh, I remember you.
Yeah, that you would think that would be a one and done kind of thing for most people, but
Another interesting thing is I was in Baja recently riding my dirt bike, and I came across a fellow on a mountain bike, and he was doing the Baja Divide, but he did it from the Great Divide. So he started in Banff, and he was still on his bicycle.
just kept going.
Yeah.
Forrest Gump style, just keep going. Wow,
I stopped, had a great chat, handed him all of my leftover food.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome. In the Crested Butte Real Estate Minute, we have been seeing a lot of activity so far in 2020. And yes, it still sounds weird to say 2020. We've had nearly twice as many properties go under contract in the Crested Butte area than we had this time last year. Perhaps it's due to year 2 of Vail ownership and people are getting comfortable with Vail and what they're doing. It's uncertain yet what exactly that means, and it'll be interesting to see if the rest of 2020 follows what's going on so far here in January. If you're interested in buying or selling, or know somebody who is here in Crested Butte or Gunnison, please visit CrestedButteRealEstateAgent.com. My name's Frank Consella. I'd love to help you out, or you can also just call me directly at 970-596-7990. Let's get back to the interview. Well, I guess let's go back to Sargents. Are you guys the only business in Sargents, I assume, or
There's a mechanic business.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's separate from you guys, even though it's really close. Okay.
Right next door, yeah.
And your business includes a few different things. So what are those things that you guys do?
So we have RV spots, tent camping, cabins. We have almost like a hostel-like environment where we have showers in the store and
perfect for the racers,
right. Yeah.
among others, though.
Yeah. And then we have a full bar restaurant. During the summer, we're open breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And who are most of the people that are staying there? Are they motorized sports people? Are they hunters? Are they hikers? Who's staying in Sargents and checking it out there?
Yeah, all the above. I mean, come hunting season, that's who we're catering to. And then, a fellow shows up on a dirt bike, he's almost chased out the door.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you doing here? What are you playing? Why are you in these mountains right now?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
What about the locals? Is the trading post kind of like their hub for the community, so to speak? Like, is that or do you not get a lot of locals going in there and kind of like talking about what's going on? I don't know.
We do get a lot of locals. It's not, for instance, we just did a Christmas dinner for all the locals. It was great. Loved it. But I don't know, it's 50-50. Some people just stay away while others are there a lot. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I would think with 30-ish people, like if you want to hang out, like, In
the summertime, we have White Pine, which is a community just outside of Sargents. I don't know how many houses are back in there, but they all show up every Friday night. Another community is Deer Haven, just down the road a little ways. They all show up on Friday night. So
okay,
yeah, we do a locals Friday dinner kind of.
Nice.
Yeah.
Does anyone live in White Pine in the winter? Do you know?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've always wondered.
Not this year anyway.
Okay.
I've heard in the past years.
Okay. Yeah, I've always wondered about that.
Yeah.
Well, talk about the food. I know I've been noticing on your Facebook posts and stuff, you've got a pretty good looking menu these days. It's looking tasty on the. Sorry, I haven't gone out there to try it, but.
Yeah. So we've been So coming from Boulder, there's no shortage of restaurants.
No.
And great food. You have your pick. I mean, if you're not doing something great in Boulder, you're not gonna make it. You're not gonna make it. We're not anywhere near that. But so I was thinking that we could offer something that wouldn't be all that expensive and have a great culinary experience. That's been hard to do. Just one is location. Two, I can't. It's hard to find the people to pull it off. So this past summer, we had somebody that we brought in from like West Palm Beach, Florida, and she did some fantastic things with the menu, but she got burnt out, walked out the door.
Oh, really? Yeah. That quick? Yeah. So
on Labor Day weekend, which kind of sucked.
Oh. Yeah. So are you the chef again now, or do you have somebody else?
Yeah, we have a local Sargents local that cooks for us. Okay. And during the winter, we just offer lunch and dinner Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then the rest of the week we offer homemade soup for any of the people playing around. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, that brings up an interesting question, actually. So you've got a local working there. What do people do for work in Sargents other than you and your chef that lives there?
Yeah, so we employ a few different people in Sargents, which is great. Uh-huh. And then the rest of the folks work in Gunnison.
Oh, okay. Wow, They make that commute every day.
Yeah, I mean, a half an hour is not bad.
Yeah,
but
in the winter, sometimes that canyon stretch can get a little rugged.
Yeah,
but
I feel like most people do a 20-minute commute outside of this area.
Right. Sure. Yeah. If you live in Gunnison, you work in Crested Butte, that's just as long, I guess.
Right.
And at the end
and
of
in the Front
day,
Range, there's so many people that live on the I-25 corridor that go to Denver every day.
It's an hour
Yeah.
with traffic, too.
Right.
So, well, it is winter right now, and something that you've been doing new this year that I really wanted to talk about is the Nordic track. So talk about how that got started and how that's going.
Yeah, that's been, in my mind, that's been a home run. So that started out, I was one day, the owner of Salida Mountain Sports and I were sitting down in the summer, and I asked him what he liked to do for a winter activity, and he said Nordic skiing, and that there's not really an opportunity to do that around Salida area.
Really? They don't? Yeah, I guess they don't have a...
I mean, not just a dedicated
Sure.
thing. They have to go to Leadville.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, we can do that in Sargents, I think.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Yeah. So I approached one of the ranches. I mean, we're surrounded by big ranches.
Mm-hmm.
I approached one of the ranch owners and asked him what he thought about us operating a Nordic course, and he was all for it. And so last year we did start doing it with the manager of the Uranium Mine and Reclamation above Sargents. We did it with, he's a manager there. We did it with him, that he had the apparatus to lay down track.
Behind the snowcat, okay. Uh-huh.
Yep. And so started it last year, and then this year we've been improving upon it.
There's a uranium mine, like above Sargents? Is that what you said?
Yes.
I had no idea. Where is
There's a split. There's a definite split on the Marshall Pass Road closer to Sargents.
Okay.
And the road that seems to be more maintained is the mine road.
Really?
Yep. And it goes up to a mine that sits, I'm guessing, at about 11,000 feet.
Really?
A big strip mine. But it's in reclamation now.
Okay,
I think
it's not actively mined, it's being cleaned up.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Being monitored and cleaned up.
Sure, okay.
Yeah.
Wow, I had
Very,
no idea.
very similar to what you have going on here, Kepler Pass.
Sure. The standard mine or whatever at the bottom of Red Lady. Yeah. Interesting. I had no idea.
So it's been great working with those folks for their machinery to...
So they just let you borrow that for free? Or?
Yeah, we taught, yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, the fellow that runs the mine is an avid skier.
Uh-huh.
Nordic skier, so
he's getting something out of it too.
Yeah, exactly,
okay.
yeah.
And who's paying for the gas?
They are with their corporate card, and we are donating a lot of it too. About
Awesome.
50-50.
Awesome. And meanwhile, it's free for anyone who goes there.
Correct. We're hoping we get a bone out of the deal with people that come in for food and beer.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. And meanwhile, it's open to everyone too. It's not just Nordic. The fat bikers can go out there.
Yeah. In fact, I came across people just walking it in their shoes.
Sure.
From Gunnison. It was awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you have any rentals out there? If someone like showed up, didn't have Nordic gear or fat bike or something?
Not currently.
Right.
It might be good to carry in the future. We'll see. I mean, like I said, I think we hit a home run with this. I can't believe how much it's taken off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. And where are people coming from? Are they coming from Salida as you...
Salida and Gunnison. I think the people we had today came out of Gunnison.
Nice.
Both. About equal mix.
Nice.
Yeah.
Let's just start to wrap it up a little bit. The Gunnison Valley is home for you, and Sargents is home for you.
Yeah.
So
Gunnison is great.
Talk a little bit more about how you ended up here from Boulder.
The community around here is just awesome. Mm-hmm. You know, our neighbors, and it kind of reminds me of where I grew up in rural Pennsylvania, that everybody, didn't matter what politics you follow or how much money you had or how little money you had. Everybody just knew everybody and helped each other when needed. So I love that about this valley. It's kind of that.
For sure.
You got these mega ranches that are, they're just, I couldn't put a price tag on some of them, but
sure.
The owners will show up in the summertime and they'll hang out and go get their own cup of coffee, like the true cowboys that are sitting in our cafe. We do a coffee crowd in the morning. Yeah. It's great.
How did you find? Have you been coming out to Sargents a lot, or how did you find the trading post?
So I've been coming out to Crested Butte a lot ever since being in Colorado. broke. I couldn't, I was figuring out how to scrape money for gasoline to get here to go camping and do some mountain biking. But Sargents sort of kind of fell on our lap. We were already looking, but out of state, Montana, Idaho, Wyoming.
And you were looking for this kind of a property, or what were you looking for?
To get out of the rat race.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Of the Front Range. Mm-hmm. Big city life, kind of. It felt like big city life.
Sure.
Yeah. And so we were looking in other areas. Steamboat was tabled. We had an offer for a great opportunity there that we ended up. And then I came out here for a little bit of dirt biking, saw a house that was on the market, and we bought it. That's a second home.
In Gunnison?
No, Sargents.
Okay, in Sargents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we were coming up here so much. Every free moment we were in Sargents.
Okay.
And I said, well, we need to figure out how to live in the Gunnison. We made the trading post wasn't for sale. We made an offer.
Okay, so you were probably going there often to get your gas because you were dirt biking?
Actually, we never really... It looked like it was getting run down, like it was not being well maintained or any of that. So I'm like, this guy probably wants to sell. And we just made an offer, and he countered, and he knew he kind of had us, I think. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So not sight unseen, but
pretty much
not listed, and not...
We didn't care to see his books. We just wanted to. I'm like, this is an opportunity. I thought.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Did you ever get to see his books? Do you know if you're doing?
Oh yeah, but I mean, there's ways to cheat books.
Well, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I'm just curious. Like, from what I've seen, and I would agree with you. I remember going there before you owned it, and it was like, all right, well, I need a bag of chips and a Coke. I just rode Canyon Creek and White Pine, and I'm tired. But like you said, it was kind of like, all right, it's worked. Yeah. And now you guys are taking it up a notch. So hopefully that has corresponded in good business too.
I think it has.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I would think that we're continuing to improve upon it. Work in progress.
Anything else I should have asked, or that you just want to talk about, or soapbox time, whatever?
Yeah, living around here is, I think it's like pinch me, am I in heaven? I love living in the Gunnison Valley.
That's awesome.
Yeah, this is home.
It's good to keep that, because the longer you're here, sometimes you can lose sight of that.
Maybe so.
But
yeah,
that's good that
I'm too new still, maybe.
No, but I mean, it's important to remember and be grateful for it. You know what I mean? So that's awesome.
Pretty awesome place. Awesome setting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Well, last question. Who else should I interview?
My wife, to see if I got my facts straight. Just kidding. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe tried interviewing somebody whose family has real legacy here.
I have tried. I would, in fact, actually, one of the...
since the beginning of...
Sure.
Before it was a state.
I've reached
These
out
families
to a lot
are here.
Yeah, I've reached out to some of the ranchers because I would love to talk to a rancher. And
They're fascinating.
I'm sure they are, which is killing me because none of them even respond.
You would have to go to their house.
Which is fine. I'll do that, but they have to respond to me
There
first.
is a couple, and I believe his father once was a county commissioner here in Gunnison. I don't know that they would take it or not, but I would.
Yeah.
He's got great stories.
Who's that? What's his...
David Means.
And does he have a place out?
So they were the original owners of the Crossbar Ranch along the Tomichi.
Which is, towards White Pine, if you took a left right past your place as you were heading out Monarch. Okay.
They've owned that. They were before Colorado was a state.
Sure.
Yeah. Remember the train coming through.
Nice.
Remember, some of our residents remember riding the train, which is incredible.
Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Anyone else you can think of?
Yeah, just I'm really into history, so I think
same.
Yeah. So that's my take. The ranchers are just people that.
All right, I will continue to try to find a rancher who's willing to talk to me, but I haven't. Like I said, I haven't had luck yet. So
It might be tough when they have a microphone in front of them instead of just like talking.
I think it's a good opportunity for them to like yell about all us recreationalists ruining their cows.
No doubt.
But yeah, anyway.
Don't go running through the woods.
Right?
It was fine just before all you showed up.
Right? Exactly. Some of them, but
yeah.
Well, cool. Well, thank you.
There's a few at Terra Marcus as well that a younger generation that might be willing.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
And I think they've been around that long as well.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for driving all the way up here to Crested Butte just to talk to me. I really appreciate it.
I love the fact that we're here. We're going to go get something to eat. This is great.
Well, you get the new award for longest commute to do this podcast. So appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Frank.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to the Crested Butte is Home podcast. Please subscribe on your favorite podcast player and leave a review if you have just a minute, or you can catch all the episodes at CrestedButteIsHome.com. CrestedButteIsHome.com also has real estate information for Crested Butte and Gunnison, and ways to reach me, Frank Consella, at the contact page there. So thanks again for listening, and if you know anyone who might like the show, please let them know about it, and I will see you again in a couple of weeks with a fresh episode.